Okay, so it's an Aovo m360 scooter. It's under a year old. It won't charge. So I've just taken the cover off, took all the screws off. There was only one that was stuck, but it did come off in the end. And I'm gonna try and work out why it stopped working. Well, the first thing I can see is that it's got wet in there, and it's got quite wet as well. So, God, state of it. It's like you've been riding it in mud. So, the thing I'm looking at is this, where the charge port is. Oh God, that's really muddy and wet. But actually, where it connects to the battery, oh, I don't know, that doesn't look great either. That looks like it's a possible. I don't know, it's just glue. I'm probably going to electrocute myself, but the battery is flat at the moment. Why? My son is watching me. He is free. So at the moment, I'm just going to dry it out with some tissue and go from there. This is part 2. I haven't cleaned it or dried it yet. I've just decided to re-record, but this time with the light on, so I can actually see what I'm doing. State that. My son is 15. He obviously, it looks to me like he's been driving through a lot of water. So it's all wet in there. So let's just, can't really see much, can we? Now that all looks soaking wet, whatever that is. I'm just gonna electrocute myself in there. But I bet drying that would help. So I'm gonna just try and loosen up these wires. There's the battery, which is soaking wet. And there's the connections into the battery. Interesting. So, obviously the charge port is probably what we're all going to think is the problem. I don't know. Well, my theory is that it's all too wet. It needs to dry out. Now, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'll do it. If I can manage to fix it, I'll make a video of it. So, yeah, look inside there. I mean, look, I don't know if you can see that. That's proper wet in there. Okay, but obviously the kids will drive these or ride them in the rain, wouldn't they? Of course they will. Why wouldn't they? One more little short video that I'm going to add to the main whole video is that when I took this cover off, you can see it's all getting soaking wet. So really, you need a bead of sealant around this whole edge to stop the water getting in. I think water getting in is the problem, but what do I know? So I've just turned the whole thing around and I'm still trying to clean it. The thing I see is that this thing, whatever it is, don't even know what this is, but I'm guessing this is the brain, was wet. So all I've done is got in here and dried it. It's still, look, if you look at the top there, still very wet. So I'm going to dry it a bit more. My guess, I mean, you can see the charge port here. The wires to the charge port look completely fine, but actually this, oh, that bit, it looks a bit, that ain't waterproof, is it? Look at that, that just came off then. So the glue around the charge port is crap. So we need to do something there, don't we? See the charge port? But what I can see is if you want to change the charge port, you just take this bit of glue off. Yeah? And then you can probably, I'm guessing, buy the charge ports off eBay. And it's only 2 screws here, isn't it? And they probably just slip out. So I'm hoping that once I dry it all, it will start charging. Could do with getting a hairdryer or a heat gun in there just to... Oops, I don't know what happened then. could do with getting a heat gun in there as well to just get it properly dry in there. So I don't know what I'm doing, but obviously I'm trying to clean up the wires a bit, get rid of the loose bits of glue. And I did see somewhere where if you disconnect the battery, so I'm guessing it's these two fat wires to this connector and then reconnect it, that can make it reset. Also, he did run this battery so flat, and I know that is a problem as well. You're not supposed to run them super flat, otherwise they can't hold a charge. So I'm still guessing. Another one of my video sections. So I've just undone these two screws, which were one either side of this plate. And I'm just going to look at it and just see if I can get it any drier. Because to me, it's all soaking wet. I don't even know what this does. I'm sure there's many of you that do. But at the moment, I'm just in, let's dry it as much as possible, and that's what it looks like. And if you look in there, it's all soaking wet. So then definitely ain't waterproof, are they? So, and that's what it looks like close up. Is there a part there? DC36 model. There's your model number. Does that mean anything to anyone? Okay. We'll carry on with it. So I saw another thing where if you disconnect the two fat wires from that connector and then wait 2 minutes and then reconnect them, that can do some kind of reset on allowing it to charge an overly dead battery. So I'm going to do it just for the sake of it. I don't even have the charger here, so I can't even test it, but here we go. There's where the charge port disconnects. I just pulled the glue off, pulled it apart, put it back together, just like I've done with this one as well. So now I just need the charger. My other observation is that the screws in there are a bit rusty, and you can see they're wet. That can't be a good thing, can it? So a lot of water has got on this. My guess is that if nothing I do works, is that replacing this part would fix it. I wonder if you can, I don't even know if you can buy them off eBay. So it's all back together, put the screws back on, and the charger is still not showing that it's charging, staying green. So I haven't fixed it. So could it be the charge port or the battery, or is it that internal thing, the heat thing, where I don't even know what that's called? So any comments, please add.